next guest, though, is Republican Congressman Ken Buck, who made his own news by announcing that he has had enough and is not running for re-election. Congressman, thank you for joining me tonight. Tell me what is driving your decision here.
Well, really two things, Kaitlin. One, I have been here 9 years, and Congress refuses to deal with the big issues that we need to deal with. We have not addressed the sustainability of Social Security and Medicare. We haven't addressed the huge spending issue that we have. By the end of next year, we will have $36 trillion of debt, and that also is just unsustainable. And so we really need to work on issues. There's no incentive structure here to do that. And then in addition to that, Republicans who have answers to these issues and are, at least aware of them and hopefully will work on them someday, have a huge credibility problem because we continue to talk about and lie about the 2020 election as if it was stolen, as if Joe Biden wasn't the real winner of that election. We keep lying about January 6th and the prisoners from January 6th, the defendants, who are not political prisoners, but rather committed crimes. They assaulted police officers. They damaged government property. And so I don't think we can have the credibility we need with the American public if we continue the lies that we're now telling.
When you hear those members of your own party that you're talking about in the hallways behind you who, try to claim the election was stolen or talk about political prisoners, those who from January 6th, do they say the same things privately, or are most of them, do you believe, saying one thing publicly and another thing privately?
I think there's a little bit of both there. I think some of them in the back of their minds know, Joe Biden won this election, but I voted to decertify, so now I need to figure this out. I think there's a little bit of that.
Are you worried about what, as you know, and your critics on Capitol Hill as well, you are often a lone voice or maybe one of very few who will criticize your own party and their priorities or lack of, as you say. Are you worried about what the Republican Party on Capitol Hill looks like without a Congressman Ken Buck in it?
No, I think there's a lot of young, new congressmen that are here that will take up that position. And I honestly believe that as we get through this election cycle, the Republican Party is going to start to look different. And I hope that we have moved beyond the influences that are on the party right now that talk about, January 6th as an unguided tour of the Capitol. I think that those things are in the past, hopefully in the past, and we'll see what the new Republican Party. The new Republican Party, to me, Kaitlin, looks a lot like the old Republican Party, the Ronald Reagan Republican Party, the party that believed in the rule of law, the party that believes in a strong national defense.
When you say you think it'll look different after the election, do you mean because either Republicans lose their House majority or Donald Trump, if he's the nominee, loses? What do you mean?
Well, I don't think Donald Trump will be our next president, and I don't think that the Republicans in the House will be bound to his ideology and to his priorities. And I think that will free up a lot of people to really get back to the roots of the Republican Party.
Senator Mitt Romney said something kind of similar when he announced that he was not going to run for re-election. He said he thought right-wing populism would fail. We've heard that from other hopeful Republicans for the last several years, including when I covered the White House. What happens to your party if it doesn't, if those who are aligned so closely with Donald Trump and election denialism and whatnot succeed?
I'm not sure if you're saying if Donald Trump becomes the next president of the United States, what happens?
Sure. I mean, he's still, even if he doesn't, he's still the undeniable leader of your party at this time, is he not?
I think he is the leader of the party at this time. I think if he does not win the presidency, then you'll see people moving on. If he does win the presidency, you're going to see another 4 years of much of the same, of people denying that election. I frankly think that some of his policies are stronger than President Biden's policies in terms of how I see the world. But I think integrity matters. And I think the American public really is going to demand integrity of the next president.
Do you think Republicans can hold on to their House majority if their priorities are as they are right now, which you say, aren't aligned with what your kind of Republicans believe they should be?
I think the House and the Senate are both at play. I think in the House we've had some redistricting in different states, and I think that's going to play a factor. I think who the nominee is next year is going to play a factor. So I think there are a lot of things that are in play right now. We have two major conflicts going on in the world. We also have inflation. We have other issues that are going to be driving people with pocketbook issues to the polls, and it'll be interesting to see how they vote.
Congressman Ken Buck, who announced he is not running for re-election today, thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thank you.